stream for Demigods, a powered by the Apocalypse game, made by the fantastic Jason Mills. And this game will be run by the fantastic Jason Mills. Roll for Change right now is raising money for the National Alliance on Mental Illness. We did a stream back in October, not on October, where we raised over $1,000 to help with the largest grassroots mental health organization. And if you can donate, you could go to rollforchange.org/donate. But enough from me. I'm going to pass it on over to Jason so that we can start our game.
Hello. As Nick said, I'm Jason. I wrote this game called Demigods. I think it's fun, so we're going to play it a little bit. We have 2 sessions planned, and we've got our 3 players here. And so anyway, Demigods is a kind of modern day magical realism. You're playing the offspring of gods. I say the children of gods, and people are like, oh, is it like a kids game or a teens? Like, it doesn't have to be that. Some people play it as teens and do like a Percy Jackson theme. Some people play it and do like American Gods, and some people just kind of do whatever. Iron Druid was an influence for me. I like those books a lot. So yeah, there's lots of different ways to play it, and no wrong ways, I don't think. Unless you're mean to people. Don't be mean to people. That's not cool. But the premise of Demigods is that all of the gods are real at the same time, even when that's contradictory, and that's fine. All the pantheons of these different gods are vying for not control, but attention and just wanting to be part of the world. But gods themselves should not come to Earth very often because they are wild and powerful and will bend the reality around themselves. So they like to have agents, working their whims on Earth. And to do that, they make demigods, which is for fun and profit. They want to have some influence, and so they often will have kids. And as we know, kids always do exactly what their parents would like them to do. So it works out great every time, and there's never any conflict at all. That's a big lie.
If there was no conflict, there wouldn't be a game.
Yeah, that wouldn't really be very interesting at all. So the conceit of this game is that normally demigods do their thing solo. They don't associate with other demigods. They can be around mortals all they want, but if multiple demigods get together, usually their fates get bound up, and then they start bending reality around themselves, and then something gets wrecked, and they have to be, pulled out into the pantheon of their birth. But your group is the first, as far as anyone knows, the first ever a group of demigods who are able to work together without their fate collapsing in a black hole of coincidence. And that is theoretically because the 3 of you had this one mortal friend, and you saved them. You worked together to save them, tied all your fates together because a life was at stake. But the fact that there's a mortal in here seems to prop up the weight of your fate and probability. So that is the basic concept of the game. So this big group of demigods, 3, 4, 5, and in a normal group are fine. This group of demigods is now in high demand or high danger. There are pantheons who are like, hey, this is very good. You can do a big thing that one demigod couldn't do before. 3 demigods can do a lot more than what one could do. Also, for instance, one demigod versus an actual god, like we wouldn't even roll dice. They just lose. It's, they're gods. You're not. That's how it goes. But 3 or 4 demigods against a god is a different story, and we would actually need to figure out what happens. So that's why many pantheons or just individual gods are terrified of your little group. So everybody in every pantheon knows about you, knows who you are, and either wants you to do something for them or wants you to die. So, as I said, no conflict and everybody gets along fine.
And in regards to that, the not everyone is from the same pantheon, correct?
Right. You can play that. I've had people, play through some short campaigns where they wanted everyone to be from the same one, and that's fine. You get to play it however you want to play it. But typically, I find it's more fun to have a mix of pantheons. So it's, you can do it either way you want. Should we go through and do like the basic introductions of who everyone is and what playbook they're playing today?
Sure thing. I'll kick it around and we'll go in alphabetical order because I'm very, very good at that. And we will start with Bailey.
Hi, I'm Bailey, and I told you people you'll have to kick me off the show before I leave. I will be playing Bernaiki Ref, the Reaper. Do I need to say who my godparent is?
Sure.
Might as well. Can you spell Bernike as well?
It's Bernike. She goes by Bernie.
Oh, Bernie is helpful. Thank you. Okay.
Because I didn't know if that's how you pronounce that name. But it's Egyptian because her godparent is Anubis.
Got it.
Next would be me. Okay, me. I am playing Valdis Haugen. She is the Muse and a offspring of Hel of the Norse pantheon.
Valdis, the Muse.
Val works.
Sorry. What is it?
Val works.
Right.
Val. Okay.
VAL.
Was Bernie the Reaper? Is that what you said?
Yes, Bernie's a Reaper. I'm sorry.
Okay. No problem.
And last, but only by virtue of alphabetical order, is Scott.
Hi, I'm Scott. I will be playing Valyar Eklund. He is a trickster demigod, offspring of Var, also of Norse Pantheon, sorry, which is up in the north. So, I mean, yes, there are two vowels, which is why I was laughing there as Nick was introducing his character. I guess we cannot both go by Val, so you can call me Valyar. Or Eklund, if you want to call me by my last name. I think he'd be okay with that.
Oh, Eklund's a good name. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to write that down.
I am also just going to write Eklund. My apologies,
right.
friends.
That is all right.
Might just call you pretty boy.
If you want to say that Eklund's pretty, that's up to you.
Oh, that's nice. That's a nice thing to say about somebody. All right. So I thought we would just go through the playbooks kind of in order where if you were to fold it in half. So if you're looking at the PDF, the order will be a little bit wonky, but I'll just I'll walk you through, and we'll see what it is you want to pick. I'm just gonna look at one of these. I'll look at the Muse playbook. You know what we should do? Let's go and have you read the little blurb for what your playbook is. Where it says like the title of your playbook, and then there's that little blurb there. And then we'll start filling some stuff in.
Yes.
Okay. I'll take first because I think you said you had the Muse up first. So I am the Muse, the talent producers, the too smooth seducers, the ones who take home anyone but losers. You make everyone look good, especially yourself. The kingmaker, the shot taker, you invented Top Shelf.
Yes.
what would be next in alphabetical order, Reaper or Trickster? It'd be Reaper, I think.
Yeah, Reaper.
Yes.
Hope so.
Death doesn't discriminate, and no one understands death and dying the way that you do. Psychopomp is not a killer, but a weight, a measure, a judge those who have passed beyond. You've been consumed by thoughts of death for as long as you can remember, either as a morbid fascination or a lust for life that fuels relentless revelry. Whatever they fear you or not, whether they fear you or not, death comes for everyone in the end.
And the Trickster.
Okay, the Trickster. Just like it sounds. Whether your parent was someone like Coyote, Loki, or I'm going to botch this name probably, Erohi,
Hirohi. Yeah.
you delight in shaking things up. Tricksters are not always funny gods, but you see the world differently from most everybody else. You want to adjust perspectives and will generally do what it takes to get what you want. This is lucky when your friends want the same things you do, and awkward when they don't.
So the stuff on the first page there is the, your name, your divine parent. We've got a lot of that stuff taken care of. Your backstory, your characters grew up as mortals, so they, had lives before, becoming demigods. Well, I mean, they were always demigods, but you know what I mean. And a couple of things on there. So your look, you just kind of describe what your character looks like. The age you knew is a question I like to ask, because I can picture like the Trickster, an 8-year-old telling their teacher, I don't have to do homework. And the teacher going, you're right, you don't have to do homework. Like, wait a minute. I think that's not right. Adults aren't supposed to agree with me. So that might be an example of a way that you knew you were different, right? I like to check if you were informed by your actual divine parent. Did they send a messenger? Did you kind of just figure it out by reading the signs? After that is, how do you feel about your pantheon? And that can be interesting because you actually, since you're still mostly mortal, you can actually get poached into another pantheon. So, if you start out with the Greeks and you're like, man, Zeus and a bunch of these dudes are real a-holes. Which is just historically accurate.
Fair.
I'm wrong.
You might, and then you meet Amaterasu from the Japanese pantheon, the Shinto pantheon. And she's like, hey, we're kind of less a-holy. Like, if you want to come join our thing, you have that option as a demigod. You can sort of allow yourself to be adopted into that. And so that can be part of your story. And then I like to know a little bit about your mortal parents. What do they do? Do you have one or two? You could have one mortal parent. You might have like a mortal parent, a step parent. Also, you could just have two biological parents, and the divine parent sort of did a spiritual adoption. And so you have three parents. This is awesome at holidays. Once everyone has that stuff filled in, then we can move on to this thing called the spindle, but I won't front load too much.
Mm-hmm.
I had all this prepared before we started playing.
I also have mine ready to go.
Well, should we just jump in and do our introductions?
I think it sounds like it.
Sure.
Okay.
I was gonna say, Scott, are you ready?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, okay.
I
Awesome.
mean, yes.
Should we go alphabetical again?
Yeah, you choose.
Okay, Bailey, you're up.
Why, Jesus? Why?
Because you've been ready for 3 weeks.
You're not wrong. Okay, so divine parent is Anubis. So her backstory. She is originally made her 17, but apparently we're doing young adults, so she's 21. She is a pastel goth with dyed silver hair and lots of homemade tattoos. They're very ugly. She is also 5'6". Or not 5'6", 4'6". So she's not very tall at all. She's
Okay.
what the kids call small.
Yeah.
But she is very much just the epitome of punk, and she has icy blue eyes. The age she knew was at 4. Her mortal parent has never, ever lied to her about anything. They have a very, very honest relationship, and it kind of has to do with the fact that her immortal parent is a very chaotic force to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So her mortal parent's name is Micah, and he is a Norwegian death metal lead singer.
That's so good.
For a, what did I say the band was called? For a band called Dark Elves, which is kind of like a little nod to him just being very much into the whole thing.
Okay, so just to make sure I've got this straight, Micah and Anubis got together and made a baby together, or was there a third person involved?
So Anubis is kind of into death metal. So he went to a concert, saw Micah, very much enjoyed his personality. They dated for a brief period, and then one day he just showed up and went, "This is yours."
I'm totally into it. Yeah, I mean, gods can like
literally Egyptians. That's like a whole thing.
Yeah,
that's how they did that. So that is So Micah has always been very open with it, and Anubis is not a stranger. He can't come around all the time, but he does try to come around every once in a while. But she spent a lot of time traveling. So
a little bit of background I should add too is it's good that Micah knows most mortals have no idea that the supernatural is real. The exception we make is for the spindle and for some mortal parents. Most mortal parents, even like people write it as they don't know what's going on. If you want them to know, that's fine. But most people, like the example I like using is, when the 7-foot tall demon with the spiky tail and wings and horns walks into Starbucks, most people just see a fancy lady in a business suit because they do not want to process that. That's just too much. They don't want it to be real. If somebody is riding, some like a leprechaun is riding their unicorn down Main Street, they're going to see a horse cop, like they're going to see the thing that they need this to be so they don't freak out. Which
makes it even funnier because in my head, Anubis came off as this very shy, very nervous square.
Yeah.
He's completely enamored.
I mean, Anubis is kind of like a book nerd too. But
I love him so much.
I know, he's good.
Precious little work.
Okay.
So feels about our pantheon feels. Is that necessarily how they feel about us or how we feel about them?
How you feel about them. And it could bleed into, and they're unhappy with you for some reason, or whatever.
For the most part, she's just kind of ignored by the Egyptians. They don't really care. Anubis does not want her to be part of the pantheon.
Oh, interesting.
Is he
like, hey, go find another pantheon? Is that?
It's more like, I know that these people are a-holes. I don't want that for you.
Okay.
So she does kind of want to do her thing, her divine thing, but is kind of free agent-y. She's currently being followed by her namesake Nike, who wants to poach her. Essentially, that was the goof.
Okay, cool. Should we go to Nick?
Okay. Val is a actress model. Her looks are magazine cover supermodel, 6 foot tall, blonde hair. Basically looks like she's been airbrushed, but in real life. Has whatever is attractive to you is what she looks like. So she is the attractive supermodel person. The age that she knew was 22, which I put here because she's 24, was about a year before the Spindle event.
Okay.
She was informed by her mortal mother in an argument. So they were having a spat, and her mortal mother came back with, "Do you think this is all your success is because you're actually good?" And
oh boy.
Then started dropping some truth on her.
Okay.
And because of that, my pantheon feels are resentment and anger.
Yeah, and it sounds like they haven't really been in touch your whole life. So,
Correct.
thanks for nothing.
Hell is a very cold woman, depicted as
Mhm.
such in the few things that she actually appears in.
Mhm.
So I just imagine she showed up, a baby happened, and then never again. Just
Okay,
gone.
cool.
Mortal parent is a mother named Lilith. That is all that is known at this time for the mortal parent. She is back in Norway, and she is a mortician.
Cool. And Scott?
Okay, Eklund. My divine parent is Var, as I said. She's a goddess of oaths, so I'm definitely not following in her footsteps. My look, Eklund is 19, about 5'6", shaggy blonde hair pulled back, blue eyes, and goes with the normally like a relaxed, formal type look, like vest with an open collared shirt and simple pants. He does have a necklace with a ring tied into a knot at the end of it. The age I knew was 6, and it's the first time that I willfully broke a promise. Because then my mom came and appeared to me in a vision, was like, "What are you doing? That's not what you're supposed to do." And I said, "But I kind of want to." Um, also, I'm 6. Like, don't bog me down with responsibilities, Mom.
Also,
That
I'm
feeling has
6.
kind of stayed the same as I've grown up. My pantheon feels is that they could be real useful if they weren't such a pain. It's like every interaction I've had with them has just been like, they want me to follow their rules, and I'd rather not. Mortal parents, I just have the one. It's my bio dad. His name is Eric. He is kind of a lives fast and hard till he burns out type. So at one point in his past, he met Var somehow. I don't think Eklund knows the story. And, promised to love her forever. They had a child, and when he broke that promise, she noped out and said, "All right, well, now you get to take care of the kid."
Nice.
Yeah, I think that's everything.
How do you spell the divine mom's name again?
It's VAR.
VAR. Oh.
Yeah. There's an accent over the A.
Yeah, okay. I kept coming up with VYR. It was just a different person.
I don't know that person.
Yeah. It's a Norse god of like justice and yeah.
Oaths, commitments, agreements, that type of thing. And when you break your oaths to them or made in her name, you get punished for it.
I like it. Okay. So the next thing we need to figure out is who our spindle is. And this is just a person who you all have in common. And we talked before the show, we're going to set this in New York City. It's even in New York City, there probably are maybe a few demigods running around, but they still tend to spread themselves out because they don't want to wind up getting tangled up in someone else's crap. So the fact that the three of you all have this one friend in common is a pretty wild coincidence to start with. So we just have to figure out who that is, and this could be a barista, this could be your lawyer, it could be. I think Bailey needs to say something desperately.
I'm sorry. Can we all be in college and it's just our TA?
That is doable.
I'm sorry. I just got the giggles thinking about that.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't particularly mind my character going back to school. That's not something that I'd mind if that's desired by the others.
I'm pretty sure if Eklund's in college, he does not plan on graduating anytime soon.
Got it.
There's so many interesting people here, so many fun things to do, and so much easier to get away with them.
Yeah. Plus, you could pretty much just tell them to give you a degree when you need it. Like,
yeah.
Hey, I'm done. I did all the classes. Oh, okay.
It's like
So
a
you
master's.
did.
Yeah. I mean a PhD. Did I say master's? No, I have a doctorate. Oh, all right. Here's your paperwork. Okay. So it can be the TA. If we want to run with that, we can do that. Are there any other ideas we want to float around?
What does Eklund do, or if Eklund is not in college, what does Eklund do for a living? Or does Eklund do anything for a living?
I mean, he mostly tricks people out of money and goods so he doesn't have to get a real job.
Okay, perfect.
Because, yeah, I don't want to work for the man.
You could work for my dad's band.
I'm sure I'll go to your shows. I'll like put out a tip jar for myself.
Hey, my dad's a good rock star.
Although it would be pretty obvious, like if you went to the show and and Bernie was at the show, Eklund would be able to pick up right away, like, oh man, there's some like divine crap going on here. I better keep my distance. And so like demigods would not intentionally try to like entangle themselves in someone's,
Good luck finding me in the mosh pit.
I think the TA one works because I have an idea for the inciting incident on that
Okay.
after. And I could also not still be in college and also still be entwined with this TA.
Okay, oh, absolutely. You might know them from the hangout thing that you go to, or some sort of support group, or like who knows? Like you could know them from anything. So this TA
Or
is
slightly left.
what? Yeah, that happens sometimes. So Eklund and Bernie, what are you studying in college? Or is Eklund might not be in college, I guess, but I want to know what this TA teaches.
Bernie probably does anything and everything musical, so it's like theory on music, classical music, anything where she's like, yep, that's what I want to do. It's stage production. She's literally gonna follow just right behind her dad.
Okay, so you do like a music degree of some kind? Okay.
I think if Eklund's in school, he would either be undeclared or probably like a communications major.
Oh yeah, yeah, of
Which-
course. Like business
I think it's,
communications.
like, right
or-
up his alley, just like,
yeah.
I write this story and it's great.
I like it.
Or it causes more trouble, and that's great too.
Yeah, I think the TA could definitely ride between those worlds, because let's say the TA is like this grad student who's doing like the effects of music as like a mass communication and the way it brings people together, man. I don't know if that's how they sound, but
Can this TA have had their own off-Broadway show that perhaps Val
I think
was
they
an actress in?
Oh my gosh.
yeah, I demand it.
Okay.
Okay, so we need to come up with a kind of a name and a presence. Like who is this person?
If they're I'm thinking of like a director type or a producer type character,
Okay.
but younger, like in their early 20s as well.
Optimistic.
Yeah, I mean, if they're a grad student, they're probably at least 24, 25. With an off-Broadway production under their belt.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very off-putting name.
Now I don't want to say any names because someone
Yeah.
will be listening.
Uh,
But
Wait, what was the off-putting name?
yeah,
I
Bailey.
just said, what's a very off-putting name?
Oh, what
I'm asking
is?
a question.
yeah, the name Dylan's coming to my head, and not for the reason that Bailey stated, but Dylan the director is what's coming to my head.
Okay, I like that.
With a Y, by the way.
Yeah.
Of course.
How do you spell Dylan?
Dylan, Dylan.
I've seen it spelled Dillon.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's fine with a Y. And Dylan's pronouns. This is.
Oh yeah, Dylan can kind of be a.
I've known both actually. Actually, in college, I knew a guy Jordan and a gal Jordan who dated, and it was.
Oh, that's
Interesting.
It was amusing.
Twins named Bobby and Bobby, and they were a boy and a girl.
Oh boy. Okay.
Into one of those
Wasn't
names.
short for anything. It was just Bobbi and Bobby.
That's something.
That's mean.
that's a choice. That is a choice that was made.
Mm.
We do have 2 females in the group.
Down for boy Dylan.
Yeah, and I'll come out and just say like it wouldn't matter for Val. She's bi, so it doesn't matter what gender.
Well, yeah, if you're attracting everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dylan could be NB as well.
Or yeah.
Yeah.
I'm fine with
Well, there's given.
NB works actually.
Okay. So we'll just use they them for Dylan.
Get your Twitter jar out.
No, this is my practice run. I'm gonna do better now.
I believe in you.
For what? Cussing?
No,
No.
we
Mine
had
is for cussing. His
we
is
had
for
players
pronouns.
play not their gender, and I was very bad at pronouns.
Yeah.
I'm also just
it's-
very bad at pronouns. I'm trying to get better at it.
Yeah,
So
we're
both
all
at the
we're all
same
getting
time.
better. Okay. So we know the Spindle's name is Dylan, and you have some idea of your relationship with them, and I just want to make that explicit. So, Bailey, what is Bernie's specific relationship like? What is their acquaintance like? Also, to the degree that you would have shown up to something and leapt to their aid when their life was in danger.
I'm down for like Dylan probably was like, well, you're fairly good at this, and your dad knows how to do stage stuff, and Bernie was just kind of like, okay, because she really wanted a good grade. She's just not huge into her helping people, but it is so burdensome to be around the dead. So maybe like something went awry in the stage show during like
The off-Broadway thing?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Maybe something went awry and like during one of the rehearsals a light fell or something. Does it have to be like an epic life save or just like
Oh, no. We're all gonna save their life together. It just has to
okay.
be a relationship where you actually care about this person.
She low-key loves musicals. She's not gonna like broadcast that.
Not admit it, but
No,
yeah, I get it.
absolutely not. That's totally lame. No, absolutely no.
Yeah.
But in the background is singing Suddenly Seymour. So
Amazing. Okay. What about reverse direction? What is Eklund's relationship with Dylan?
I think Dylan, as the TA in one of my classes, has been just kind of naturally very helpful to Eklund as far as like believing his excuses, getting him out of trouble, even without me really like trying to do demigod stuff to them.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, this is a genuine friend who's helping me get away with stuff, and man, I don't want to have to build that relationship all over again with somebody. There's probably
So
not going
much
to be another Dylan. Like, it's going to be someone worse. It's got to be, right? So
Yeah.
I'd rather keep around someone I view as like a true friend rather than someone that I fooled into being a friend.
Okay. So you and Dylan are like you have a genuine friendship with this person, which sounds like it's relatively rare for Eklund to like kind of be sincere with somebody.
Yeah, just because I tend to do the trickster stuff off the bat with a lot of folks that I meet the first time. But they were like generally cool and like is a real friendship, not a magic one.
Yeah, cool. I like that. And Val.
Oh, we were sleeping together.
Of course.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Okay. How did you meet?
If he's 24,
they
if they are 24, then we probably met in class because Val is also 24.
Oh yeah, maybe you were the same class,
Right.
and you were doing your. Did you do like a MFA of some kind, or?
I think that Val proofed a lot of the work that Dylan was putting into his off Broadway, and I think that's how they got close. Is that Dylan's off Broadway was bad, and Val needed to do a lot of helping to get them up to snuff. And
Made it less bad.
They spent a lot of time together. One thing led to another, and
Dating a muse will definitely improve your writing.
Hopefully.
Well, yeah, otherwise you're hopeless. Okay. Well, I think we all have a pretty clear idea of who the Spindle is and who they are to us. So the next part of your playbook, you'll notice your death move there. We may not need to use that, but that's in Demigods. If your character takes 7 harm, you are dead. Most of your essence goes to your Pantheon's afterlife, but a shade of you remains with your woven band, is what this is called. And that's the one thing you can do in the 7 days that your group has to retrieve your essence. So hopefully they'll do it. Hopefully they don't get distracted with something. Yeah. But next to that is the list of gifts. I'm pretty sure everyone has 8 to pick from, and you get to choose 3. So short version of some of these descriptions, anything that says divine in it is just like a kind of a mega attribute kind of thing. It's not a specific die roll or anything. It's just, this is your super that, whatever it is. Epic armor will absorb 2 harm. And for example, an epic weapon deals 4 harm. So this gives you a sense of scale. Normal guns, firearms do 2 harm. So epic armor, it makes you immediately bulletproof, for instance. And it can look like whatever. An epic instrument or tool is just an example of that thing that can do something the normal version cannot. So an example of an epic tool has been like this supercomputer laptop that doesn't need to be plugged in or have Wi-Fi to access the internet. Like it's just,
I want that.
it just always has Wi-Fi. But there are other gifts on there that are maybe not immediately obvious what they do, and that is meant to inspire a little conversation between us. So if you know what you like or you want to ask some questions, now is a good time to do that.
I have a question right off the bat.
Great.
Aura of inspiration.
Mm-hmm.
I would like that to be Val taking away people's fear. So kind of making them more brave and more inspired to do things.
Yeah, just people around her are braver.
Correct.
Sure.
Insert Kobe Calais on here.
Okay. That's totally doable.
All right.
I have a question about one of these trickster gifts. One of them is magical resistance. How exactly, what exactly is that?
If there is a magical effect that will make everybody see strange things, or a magical sneak attack, or even like a ward, or something like that, you will have some advantage to resist that, or it might just bounce off or be completely harmless. It'll kind of depend on the situation, but you definitely will have, when you encounter magical effects, you'll have some ability to shrug it off.
All right, that sounds right up Eklund's alley.
So I took Book of the Dead.
Okay.
Is that like a spellbook per se, or is that like a literal, this is how you prepare the dead?
Oh, well, mostly we've used it as, it's a book that has a little bit of information on everyone who's ever died.
And I'm making an iPad.
Yeah.
Groovy.
Yeah, that's totally fine. But I mean, it can also, if you had an idea of it being something a little bit else, that we could talk about that.
I was gonna say the only real idea was I liked the idea that she has a handful of just WTF spells. Not anything like useful per se, but like something akin to what is that one in thaumaturgy?
Oh yeah, like cantrips.
Yeah.
There's a move in under the arcane playbook called cantrips,
Yeah.
which I think is kind of what you're talking about, which is fine. And so if you want a Book of the Dead to do that stuff, I would want to say that it doesn't have information on everyone who's died, but you can use this in the Bend Fate basic move to do some magic-y type effects.
Okay.
If you'd like it to work that way.
I'm down. I kind of like the idea that it works like, did you ever watch Runaways?
A little bit, yeah.
You know how her staff, she has to like say the word, but the effect may not be exactly what she's thinking.
Yeah.
I like holding out the iPad.
Yeah, we can work with that. And just in your prep, when we get to attributes, the Bend Fate move uses your weird score. Yes, and the Reaper starts with a 0, so you might want to put your +1 into weird.
Oh, I already did.
Got it.
I've been ready for 3 weeks.
Making it weird. All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, how about Val? Do you have all of your gifts picked?
I do. I will be taking Aura of Inspiration, which is what we discussed. Celebrity. And epic armor in the form of a gold ring that she always wears.
Okay, cool. And so celebrity does mean mortals will recognize you for your mortal fame. And that's just, you're recognized, people want your autograph. You're definitely well known.
She is a model.
Okay, cool. I actually had a player at a con game pick celebrity, and I was like, okay, cool. And then at some point I had somebody like come up and want their autograph and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, what is happening? What is that? I was like, you pick celebrity. Like, what do you think that meant? So I just try to say everything up front now.
It's fair.
Yeah.
Your spark now.
What does celebrity mean to you?
Convenience celebrity. Only celebrity when I want to be.
Yeah.
Coffee.
Okay, Eklund, what did you pick?
Okay, so I took the magical resistance because I don't think I need other magic things affecting me when I'm doing magic. But I also took animal form, which is a harmless animal, and I would like to be a jaybird if I can.
Sure.
Awesome. And for the third one, I chose mimic.
Okay.
I want to look like other people.
Okay, great. I always have to ask what people want mimic to mean. So if you want to be a face changer, that is fine. I've had it mean lots of different things, so that's great. And
yeah, I definitely want to use it more to be like, oh, hey, it's not Eklund, it's Val over there.
Yeah.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
And Bernie, what are the other ones that you picked?
I did epic weapon. And if you will permit it, I would like it to be a bass guitar that turns into a khopesh.
Yes.
Which is an Egyptian sword.
Yes.
Because I love the idea of her just literally slinging this thing over her shoulder and it turning into a blade.
Yep. I love everything about that.
I also took Steed. Again, with your permission, I would like it to be a hippo.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, your steed is like basically intelligent, like not 100% a full person, but yeah, I mean, your hippo will like wait for you when you tell them to wait, or you'd be like, hey, come around in half an hour. Like it'll be there in about half an hour.
Oh, so the hippo's name is Ippy, by the way.
Okay. And what does it look like to mortals?
So to mortals, it looks like a Harley Davidson Fat Boy.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Bright pink.
Okay. Yeah. So people stay out of the way, and that's cool. They don't understand why that Harley Davidson is eating a pumpkin, but that's fine.
Because it makes her happy. Don't question it.
I know.
She is all extremely spoiled.
Good. That's as hippos should be. Now I've already blown it out of my head. You said epic weapon, steed,
and Book of the Dead.
Oh, Book of the Dead. Yeah, of course. Okay. Cool. So let's move on to attributes. These are pretty straightforward. You've got an array that you have to set down, and then you get to add one to one of them. And all of these numbers work as, if you haven't played PBTA before, or I guess all of you have played this like masks or something similar, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So yeah, you're going to roll 2 dice and add the stat if you're just listening along and you don't know how these work. After the attributes, there's the harm track. You'll notice the first 3 harm are just like whatever, and then the last 4 are red. So if you get into the red, you're -1 to all your rolls. But conversely, if you end a fight with 3 or fewer harm, that'll just kind of heal up on its own. You just got banged up a little bit. It's not a real injury. If you get to 4 or more, you have been injured, like the blood has been drawn or something along those lines. Threads are how we count XP. If you manage to save up 5 of them, you get to buy an advancement from the list there. Most of you have similar things on advancements, but everyone also has a couple unique ones kind of towards the bottom of the list. And threads can also be used one at a time, which can make it hard to save them up. You can spend one to gain Fate's Favor, which is roll 3 dice and keep the better 2. And you can do that after you rolled. So you can roll 2 dice, flub it, and go, oh, I need the 3rd die. I'm spending a thread, and and do that. You can spend 1 to make it like a pretty major alteration to a scene. The example being like, this is a story game, we're all telling it together. If you tell me you grab the volleyball net while you're fighting something on the beach, like, yeah, of course, there's the volleyball net. But if you tell me you're going to grab the fire extinguisher that's half buried in the sand, I think we probably need a thread for that to be there, and for that to make sense. So the last thing you can use the thread for is to avoid 2 harm, and that would stack with any armor that you have or anything like that. So, and you can spend multiple to like avoid 4 or 6 harm. So you can only gain Fate's Favor once, though. And you can use that to get Fate's Favor to offset Fate's disfavor, right? So if I'm saying you have a disadvantage for some reason, you won't get the 3 dice, but you'll be just back to rolling 2 dice, which is better than disfavor. So that can be a good way to sort of offset a sticky situation. And then to the right of all that are your moves. And that might be the next area where people have some questions. So I'll just pause. Any questions about the moves?
I don't think I have any. I think I actually have mine picked out.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about mine.
No, I think I've got my 3 already picked out.
Okay,
Pretty happy.
let's start in the middle. Val, what are your moves? You don't have to read the whole thing, just kind of the short version.
I chose #blessed, which is the thaumaturgy for things working out for you. So I will get to describe how small inconveniences are no longer inconveniences for me. I took Motivational Speaker, which allows me to roll and add awe instead of tangles when I'm providing aid. So making me more support-y for the party. And Snake Eyes, which allows me to roll awe when making eye contact and essentially freezing people in place.
Cool. I like that. Eklund.
Hey, first one I chose was Outfit of the Day, which means I'm always dressed for success. I can basically have my clothing look however I want it to. I can try
Convenience for a mimic as well.
Indeed. I can try to mimic a outfit or a uniform that'll be mostly right, but a little off. And because I am a mimic, I can copy a specific person and their outfit, which is wonderful. I also took Larceny, which gets me a +1 when rolling to perform under pressure for sneaking around and picking locks and getting away with things. And then
you're the rogue.
A little bit, except without, any sneak attack. And for my third one, I chose, oh, you mean this gate key? Which lets me produce like a small object that is useful in the immediate situation, but isn't totally right, and it goes away right after I use it. They're like small little consequences sometimes, like jamming locks or ID badge that only kind of works, and things like that.
It's also worth noting for the others, if you haven't looked over the Trickster playbook, most playbooks, most of the moves have you roll dice to do something, and none of the Trickster moves tell you to roll dice, which is by design, because the Trickster doesn't take chances.
I'm getting away with this. Darn it.
You still have to roll dice for the basic moves, but
Yeah.
it was just kind of a design choice there.
Like it.
Okay. How about Bernie?
I chose best of 7, which I can challenge people to contests, and I will be playing The Devil Went Down to Georgia at one point. You cannot
Mhm.
stop me. This also
Ideally.
does not require me to roll, so I'm very interested in how that's going to work.
Well, it's the best of 7 allows you to establish the agreement, and then depending on what it is you're doing, there may be a role associated with that.
That's what I thought, but it definitely was right up my alley. I thought it was cool.
Mm.
I did Flash Life, which has me giggling because I love all these names. So I get to roll plus my judgment, and depending on how well I roll, I can make the lives flash before my enemy's eyes. And because I do have an epic weapon, I can also harm them when this happens. And then I took In the Balance, which allows me to heal people as long as they trade me something. I like the examples are a drink, a kiss, a prayer, or something else.
Yep. Okay, cool. Okay, so that's it for all of our moves. On the very last section to cover before we jump in is the how you actually gain threads. So in a lot of PBTA games, you get an XP when you fail a die roll, and that's not the case here. In Demigods, you get an XP automatically if you roll doubles, and every time you roll doubles, there's no limit to that. So just roll doubles all the time. If you do something that we all agree was freaking epic, you're going to get a thread for that. And then your once per session, you can get one of these 4 that is unique to your playbook. And I find it helpful to read them off so everyone knows what you're being bribed to do with your playbook. Let's have the Reaper go first.
Okay, so my once per sessions are save a life, throw a party, make a morbid remark, which I'm very just sad I can only do that once per session.
You can do it lots. You're only going to get 1 thread.
I know, but that makes me sad because I have so many prepared. Or ease someone's suffering.
Okay.
So.
And the Muse.
My once per sessions are throw a party, seduce someone, take the spotlight, or urge someone to greatness.
Cool. And our Trickster.
Okay. Once per session, trick someone, cause a distraction, tell an unnecessary lie, and teach someone a lesson.
Yeah, it doesn't count if you get something for the lie.
Right.
Okay. And yep.
So I have a quick question. So if Val and I threw a party together, do we both get the string?
Yeah. Yeah,
Alrighty.
absolutely.
Excellent.
So just throw a party every day.
Yes. And time. This works.
The last thing we should go over is your Ascendance move. The Ascendance move is your kind of great big ultimate Uber move. You can use it up to 3 times. If you use it 3 times, though, you are out of the game. So don't do that. Each time you do it, you shed some of your humanity, your mortality, and it becomes more difficult. You become strange. Like mortals aren't sure about dealing with you. Mortal life seems less and less important the more you use this ability. And so a lot of demigods can live a long time. Many have been around for hundreds of years and just never gone big. They just kind of laid low, did what they could do to help out, and lived a long, easy life because they don't want to ascend to their pantheon. So if you use this, you'll get to do the thing that's described there, and then you get to pick a consequence. You only have to pick one, so there's a few consequences to pick from. But let's read what those do. Let's go back to the muse.
Okay. My Ascendant's move is center stage. You light up the crowd, quite literally. You become a shining beacon of inspiration, driving everyone who can see you to lean into the best versions of themselves. The people are moved to greatness. Describe what you accomplish working together. And are the consequences the same for every...
There are
book?
a couple. There's like one unique one for each playbook, but that's okay. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. How about the Reaper?
Mine is Harbinger. You are become death, immortal chooser of the slain. For a brief moment, you are impervious to harm. Wade through any mayhem and raise fallen allies to rise to live again. This party isn't over until you say it is. Which I love.
And the Trickster.
Okay, this is going to sound a little bit like a rewind here, because mine is bait and switch. Why would you ever want to be the center of attention? Your Ascendance move lets you use someone else's Ascendance in your woven band. You can either mimic it and control it yourself, or let someone else use theirs on your dime. Wouldn't it be a shame if the wrong person was blamed? So I basically get access to their Ascendance moves. Or I can inspire them to do the same, to like have another go at it in case they don't want to be gods just yet.
Yep. Yeah.
I love that. It's just like, yeah, bring everybody back to death. Another dead again. Trickster's like, my turn. Do it again.
I'm just going to walk into a graveyard.
Let's try that again. Okay. So let's do our first, kind of the first job we actually need to do with this is define our incident, so-called. This is the day that we saved Dylan's life, and the process is we need to just answer a few questions, which is on this list that I'm about to go and look at. Okay, so just copy this over to my notes document. So our spindle, Dylan, found themselves facing insurmountable supernatural odds, an epic disaster, a monster, an evil demigod, etc. But the three of you saved them. What did we save Dylan from?
I have an idea, but it might be stretching the rules slightly. So I'm going to put it to the group, and I will not be insulted if it's shot down.
Nick, I have a hippo.
I would like Dylan to be saved from Val.
Oh,
what did you do?
I got very mad because my mother told me that I was a demigod, lived life very angry, and then snapped one day on my significant other.
But then why does Dylan still like you at all?
Because he understands that she wasn't herself that day. Or they understand.
It was the equivalent of having a very, very large falling out argument between a couple, and we wouldn't be dating anymore.
Okay, so it was a falling, like you weren't attacking them.
I was, but that's how demigods fall out.
I think it might fit together a little more neatly if we said, not that Val was like literally singing, but like had set something in motion and then had that moment of like, oh no, I should not have done that. Does that
to the show?
What if Val called Mom and not the one in Norway?
Oh crap.
Oh.
Yeah, that would be a situation.
What, you sent Hell to go destroy Dylan's theater before their show or something?
Break up for him. Break up with me.
Yeah, make sure that opening night is a killer.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Okay, I like that. So I'm gonna put Val/Hell. So Yeah, that started up. You said, let's do the thing. And then when you changed your mind, Hell was like, whatever, now I want to do it. Like, you're not the boss of me. Probably didn't have Hell herself on the mortal plane because that caused a lot of havoc. But yeah, the agents of Norse Hell
The
just
Dragmeer.
flooding. Yeah.
Undead horde.
So
Undead horde.
the next question is, there was substantial collateral damage. What got wrecked and how did we cover it up to look less supernatural? I think this might be answered already.
The theater.
Yeah. Does that sound right?
Did we knock down the fourth wall?
We destroyed that fourth wall. Completely trampled it.
Mhm.
Okay. Let's name this theater because I think it's been under repairs and is looking forward to a grand reopening soon.
Oh, I need to think of a proper New York City name.
Westbrook.
Westbrook's a good one. It should have the word new in there, so maybe New Westbrook. New
Oh,
Westbrook
yeah.
Theater.
The new Westbrook Theater. Okay.
So when it reopens, it's going to be the new.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay. And in this process, we earned the admiration of a major divine being who was impressed with what we did. Definitely not Hell. And why were they impressed? Maybe it's a god of the arts who was like, wait, that's a theater, don't break that.
That's mine.
Or it could be somebody completely different.
Just another muse.
Yeah, could be like a god of love who's like, whoa, no, your relationship's more
Ooh.
important than this.
I have an idea for
Oh boy.
Last words.
getting
Scott's
worried.
for Scott's divine parent to be this person. And this would be only if Eklund would do this, but you did state that you were friends with Dylan.
Yeah.
So Dylan would probably ask you to make sure that his opening night went as well as possible. And then you kept that oath,
Longest.
and
As best I could. I mean, there was still some damage, but
you
I
did it,
tried,
yeah, as best as possible.
which I think my mom would appreciate.
Okay.
And
Is
that
it
makes
wrong
it
that I'm
worse
upset?
for you now.
All right.
You
So
got an animal
Var,
you didn't want.
In particular was the one impressed with saving Dylan.
Sure, yeah.
Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Because I said
Cool.
I would help protect Dylan and like support them and like, yeah, I tried,
Mhm.
which is more than my mom has seen from me in a long time.
Now, conversely, we ticked off a different divine being, having spoiled their plans or fun or whatever. Who was that?
I'm gonna just say it's hell because I feel like it's hell.
It could be hell. It could
I
be
can
Loki.
also picture a version where Hell is kind of ambivalent about this,
Yeah.
like, "Oh, you want me to burn it down? Now don't burn it down. Like, what do you want? Make up your mind."
I could see that as
Uh,
well. So if there's another one, by all
Just like,
means.
I mean, if we want to take somebody from mine, there's always Seth, who just god of chaos.
Oh,
Yeah, Seth might want to just see it all burn down. That's true.
yeah. I like the idea of pulling something from Bernie's pantheon.
I like that
Yeah.
as well.
I like that.
You ignored me for 16 years.
Okay.
Now you
Set.
can-
And how specifically? Oh, this is maybe answered already. It says, "How did our spindle get tangled up in the plot?" I think specifically, they were spurned by Val. Okay, Val, what specifically did Dylan do? Or did Val do something bad and then turned it around on Dylan and
Oh,
made
absolutely.
it seem like
Yeah.
their fault?
Absolutely. Val had a shoot, one of like 7 shoots that she did that month on opening night. And Dylan asked her to cancel and go.
Yeah.
And she thought they were being completely outrageous and
Mhm.
informed them of such. And one thing led to another, and the forces of hell were invading his opening night.
Oh God, that's so good.
This was supposed to be a reboot of Cats.
Not
Right.
demons.
I definitely need to protect Dylan now.
I just love the idea of Eklund just like every time Val comes around, just putting an arm around Dylan, like, no, no, this is mine now.
Okay. Great. So that whole thing happened about a year ago. And a further consequence of this is that Dylan can now see the supernatural for what it is everywhere, which is usually why we said it about a year ago, because your spindle has freaked the freaked the F out. Like, that's a lot. Like, suddenly that very tall lady at Starbucks is a bright red demon with horns and a tail, and that's like a thing you have to deal with. She just wants a latte. So that's a thing. Additionally, so Dylan's gonna need time to recover and get used to this new kind of fact of life. Also in that intervening time this is when you all have a chance to get to know each other, because normally, well, probably what you tried to do, you save Dylan, then we're like, oh no, you're a demigod. Yep, you're a demigod. Crap. Okay, we have to like feed it, right? Because you know what happens when demigods hang out. And then you're, doing your thing around town, and you keep running into one another, and you go, okay, this is ridiculous. I'm going to go to the Trader Joe's all the way on the other side of Manhattan. And guess what? All three of you had the same damn idea. So,
just here for my guava.
Yeah. So pretty quickly, it becomes clear that you're tangled up, but for some reason, the three of you are able to hang out and not collapse the fate of the world in on yourselves.
Well, that's neat.
Yeah, it's convenient. So the thing we have to do now is fill in your tangles from the tangles part of your playbook, and we get to see a little bit about how you know each other. You can fill in one person more than once. You got to put down at least each other player, but that's easy with 3 players. So you use everyone at least once, and you can put Dylan in there. But if you're going to put Dylan down, let's all just check in and make sure that that's okay. In case, like, if multiple people are putting down that you slept with Dylan, like, if that's okay with everyone, then fine. But if you're thinking, no, Dylan and I have a monogamous relationship, then that, there's an unnecessary conflict there. So we'll just talk about our feelings. Okay. Does anybody want to go first?
I have 3 filled out. You said we didn't have to fill out all of them, right? So I just do
You
one
don't.
for every.
Yeah, you don't have to fill out all of them.
Okay.
You'll need at least 2 of them filled out, 3 optionally, and then you can fill in the same person more than once.
Okay.
But Reaper, do you want to just read your tangles, and because then the guys might hear that and go like, "Ooh, hey, put me down for that one," because
Groovy Tuesdays. So the first one is, you had a vision of Blank's death. Describe how, but not when and where. The second one is, you escorted Blank's family members to their afterlife. You bartered with another Reaper for Blank's life and won. You and Blank have thrown some epic parties together. Blank ignored your premonitions and now has the scars to prove it. You have feelings for Blank, but haven't made your move yet.
Okay, so what were you thinking there?
I was thinking about putting Dylan in the Visions of Death one, just because that kind of goes along with what we already established in the.
How did you see villain? How did you see villain?
Show your head.
Spoiler.
Dang it! I gave it all away. But how did Dylan die?
I'm thinking that it was it probably will eventually be some kind of car accident. That seems really
okay.
Common for where they are.
Okay.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And was gonna say, I have 2 ideas for 2 other ones, but again, I wanted to see if anybody had one that they were like dibs. So
Personally, I'd love to hear your ideas.
Yeah.
So I wanted to put Eklund in the one for you bartered with another Reaper for their life.
Oh.
Because I
Oh,
love
okay.
the idea that Eklund just gets in so much trouble.
That some other god wanted me dead and sent a
I'm just
Reaper after
like,
me.
Well,
can I just have my idiot back?
in this case, a Reaper would come for you because you died. And so
Oh.
that's something we would have to incorporate into the backstory of the last year or so, if you want to do that.
As a Reaper, I can bring you back.
Sure. That sounds great. Oh, everybody thought I was dead for a minute there. Haha.
Oh,
Gotcha.
dang
I knew it would
Loki
work out.
Jr.
It's fine.
Okay, good. So Scott, just think a little bit about how he died. You don't have to come up with it on the second, but just let's think about that.
And
Yeah.
then the other one was you and Val have thrown some epic parties together, because I
That
feel like
sounded-
that just completely goes together.
That sounds right. Okay.
So that being said, I could put Eklund in for that second to the last one. Blank ignored your premonition. Like I could have been like, hey, no, don't. Oh, damn it, he did it anyway.
And that's when I died.
Yeah.
Yeah, and has the scars to prove it. The other thing to know about tangles, while they are fun and profitable, they are also the number of tangles that you have someone is what you add to a provide aid roll. So
is
that's
it good to have more, or is it bad?
if you're planning on rolling provide aid, then yeah. Having 2 or 3 tangles of someone, it just means you know them really well and you know how to help.
Okay.
Right? Does that make sense? Like you're just in sync. And if you just have one tangle with them, you're like, well, you know each other. You have to. Okay. Yeah. Let's go to Val. And we could jump back to Bailey if you think of something. You're like, oh, I need to fill this in. So
I do, but I'm gonna let everybody else have their moment.
Okay. Val, what do you got?
Blank would be a hit at parties if they just listened to your advice.
I'm sure.
You've slept with Blank, but there's no real emotion there. Blank knows about that thing you did that one time. Blank's cynical outlook is exhausting for you. You wheedle the secret out of Blank that they would rather have kept to themselves. And Blank keeps you grounded when you get full of yourself.
What, Val gets full of herself?
Never. Other people seem to think that Val gets full of... So...
Well, also, like, you don't have to take that one if you don't... Like, if you want to say, oh, no, that's not really... Like, Val's not that egotistical. You know, like, you can kind of... This shapes your character a little bit.
That's the first one I filled in.
Oh, okay, great. So we know something about Val now.
I think Dylan keeps Val grounded.
Okay.
When she gets full of herself.
Yeah, the real talk.
Yeah. Especially now that Dylan has seen the supernatural. They can be a little bit more.
Oh yeah, do any of you have like a weird, like a supernatural look about you that, you know, mortals miss but other people would notice right away?
Oh yes, I forgot about that. Hell is generally described as being half black, half white, like a half and half type.
Like dead.
Yes, I want that as
Which
the
half?
actual. So she is.
Do you mean literally like very pale one side and?
No,
like...
I want the supernaturally beautiful side, and then a like zombie-esque, morbidly dead face.
Yeah, like the what's that creature's name? It'll come to me.
But that's also what Val sees when she looks in the mirror as well.
The Lamia. Lamia.
So, yeah, Dylan sees that now.
Okay. Cool.
Dylan.
All right. I like it. And yeah, we can just think about if anyone has a kind of supernatural aspect. What other tangles do you have, Nick?
Eklund knows about that thing you did that one time. I would like to keep it that only Eklund knows that I sent the forces of hell
Oh,
because
That's
they are
what he
the only
knows?
one
Okay.
in the Norse pantheon besides
Mhm.
me.
I had my ear to the ground on that.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping I'd get to read that one.
Mm-hmm.
Tell
Okay.
me about that
Sad.
thing you did.
I wanted there to be a moment where I meet your mom and be a big fan of your work.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is the sort of thing, like tangles can sort of change and break and evolve over time. Like if Eklund gives up that secret, you're gonna erase that tangle and not have that +1 for Eklund anymore. One, because that's like that dude just gave up your secret. Like
Yeah.
that sucks. So that these are sort of morphable. They're not concrete, right? Maybe if you saw someone's death, but in Demigods, it's their possible death. It's their one potential death. It's their first death or their 30th death. It's
His
whatever.
death until we get a hold of Bernie.
Yeah. One kind of one shot. The Reaper had said, "Yeah, I saw their death," and it turned out it was just because they went to hell to get something, right? And they're like, technically, you're dead if you're here. So that was ended up being the vision. Nick, do you have a third one?
I have 2 for Bernie actually.
Okay.
Special.
Bernie's cynical outlook is exhausting for you. And
Does that work for you, Bernie? Are you cynical?
A little bit.
Okay.
I thought it worked with the Reaper a little bit, so.
Yeah.
And then you wheedle a secret out of Bernie that they would rather have kept to themselves.
Oh.
Do you know what that is, or do you want to think about it?
I gotta think for a second.
Okay.
I don't want it
Okay.
to be the musical.
I am very intentionally leaving Dylan off of the "you slept with" blank because it ends with "there is no real emotion there."
Yeah, you do have some feels left over, right?
I think Val has more feels left over now.
Oh no,
Aww.
that's sad. Okay. Is there another one you do want to fill in, or just sit on that for now?
I'm gonna leave it for now.
Okay, let's go to the trickster.
Okay, so I've got blank caught you in a lie one time and earned your respect. You and blank pulled a hellish prank that one time. You just can't resist pushing blank's buttons. You ticked off blank's pantheon, but they don't know it's you. Blank will make an excellent shield when the trouble finally hits. And it seems like blank understands why you do what you do. You'll have to keep an eye on them. I think I want to start with Dylan. I think you and Dylan pulled a hellish prank that one time.
Excellent. Do you have an idea of what that was? We can get it later.
I mean, I've got an idea because I think it would be fun. And
Well, I want to hear it now.
We snuck into Val's apartment and just took all her makeup.
That's probably expensive too.
Well, it was also the night before the runway show as well. And do you know how hard it is to find that shade of orange?
That is a hellish prank. Yeah. Okay.
Not covering you for your butt.
All right. What else you got?
If possible, Val, if you're okay with it, you just can't resist pushing Val's buttons
That's what I would have signed up for as
Really
well.
hoping.
because
Yep.
you're so pretty and it's so easy. Bernie, would you like to have caught me in a lie that one time and earned my
Kinda.
respect?
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah, and Bernie's all about the like oaths and promises and stuff, right? Or is that someone else?
No,
Oh,
Oaths
that's
and
my
Promises is his
Eklund.
That's
Uh,
Eklund's mom.
actual
Oh,
mom.
right. Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, Bar is all about that.
Bernie don't care. She's about games.
But like, hey, Bernie saw through like all my magical crap and like, oh, okay, all
I
right.
just love the idea of you just like looking at Val and Bernie's like, you're not fooling anyone. Stop.
Oh, a quick side question. I don't remember. Do we go? Are we run 2 hours or 3 hours?
2. But
Okay.
run over is whatever. As long as everyone's okay with it, it's fine.
Okay.
I got nothing to do.
Yeah, we might just need to squish a little bit more onto the end just because this process takes a little bit of time. So
Okay. And then I've got a second one for each of the other players if they're cool with it. These ones are less important. So,
This makes me
Val, if you would like to make an excellent shield when the trouble finally hits.
I think that would work well. Yes.
Okay. And for Bernie, it seems like Bernie understands why you do what you do, and you'll have to keep an eye on them. You got my respect, but I still don't fully trust it.
yeah, you don't want someone to understand you. That's not how tricking people works.
Like, respect for catching me in my game, but also
right. Don't. I love it.
Awesome.
I love it.
So I have an additional one I have the answer for Val, the secret that Val knows, but it will also give Eklund one more tangle. Val knows that Bernie thinks Eklund's cute.
Huh?
Oh, is that the secret?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like she does not want people to know that she has feelings.
Okay. I like it.
Reapers don't feel.
No, I'm too cool for that.
That's great. It's fun too. Like, I like the Reapers having lots of connections. Like, you can really help these people if you want to. Like, you have
Do I want to?
2 or +3. Or the trickster, like the trickster, like, you have a lot of connections. You can help your friends, but like, well, how's that gonna go? Okay, so we saved Dylan from Val's broken heart, and I guess we saved Dylan from Dylan's broken heart, really.
Y'all aren't dating anymore. You're just friends, right?
As far as we know.
Yeah. The way that I have it in my head is that Dylan no longer wants to date Val.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. All right. Well. Cool. I think that's all the prep we have to do to get started.
Mm-hmm.
Yay.
Great. Okay. So last year, the theater, that off-Broadway show was meant to coincide with the timing around Fashion Week. And so we find ourselves returning to Fashion Week in New York City. And that's kind of the buzz all around town. Most recently, we've all been, you're a year into having to put up with each other all the time. And I imagine you've had a few little escapades and kind of figuring out the political ramifications of, like, oh yeah, our pantheons want us to do shit, and we can do more than the average demigod, working together. So that's a lot. Have you been attacked for what you are?
Like by a monster or like politically?
Well, I mean, a political, like a pantheon would send a monster to deal with you because they don't want to send a god, because that, like, if they send a god to fight 3 demigods, it's just all gonna break and nobody wins. So, yeah.
We did destroy a theater, which is a form of media.
Mm-hmm.
Could that pantheon have been trying to stop us from destroying more media?
Yeah, I like that idea a lot, actually. So in this game, media is a sort of a monotheistic pantheon, in that the concept of media is the one true God, and there are all the things that come out of that are sort of like saints or spirits or angels or whatever you want to call it. But I need to come up with a better name But
Avatar.
avatars, yeah, that's not bad actually, considering the internet. You have internet avatars, and so if you have so the avatars of media are things like internet or books or podcasts, things like that. And so you could actually have a demigod who's like the daughter of podcast, and that is a popular media.
What's the NPR dude's name?
That it receives a lot of devotion and time and money and worship. So
the god of Patreon.
yeah, that would be like the kind of the Hephaestus, the crafter, or a god who's interested in currency, things like that. There are lots of deities like that who like coinage.
I will make you this pantheon.
Yeah,
nice little flow chart.
It's a pantheon with dozens of avatars. Media herself is this sort of one true god situation. Started around the time that the printing press was invented, but really humans have been telling each other stories for a long time, and that's kind of the basis of her worship. But yeah, I think the destruction of a theater, particularly like a modern New York City theater, which is kind of her jam, like the more, like as things move forward, she gets more and more people. Like the number of people who don't look at the internet at least once a day is smaller than the number of people who do. So not everybody in the world has constant internet access, but a lot do. And that's she receives that as attention. So destroying a theater, she would be irritated with that. And I think
just a tad.
At one point an attack began in the form of like all of your kind of Wi-Fi and cell phone and every like signal, you were in a bubble of like not communicating. Yeah, you're in a dead zone. And everywhere you went was a dead zone. You're like plugging the phone in, like,
I mean, it already is because it's me, but
yeah.
Oh, does that mean your iPad stopped working?
I thought about that. I was like,
Epic items are going to be a little bit more difficult to shut down, but the getting updates would have been tricky.
I need that.
And then, when you were cut off and kind of messed with long enough, because, media is going to play mind games, started sending in trolls.
Oh, internet.
That would be the monster of media.
Yeah.
Oh.
I like it. I love it.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm not 100% sure what they look like, but
actual trolls.
yeah,
But
like
like annoying YouTube stars.
they just look like comment sections.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, there was this, about 4 or 5 months ago, there was an altercation with media. You had to beat down some trolls. And after that, you got so internet got in touch with you and was like, look, media sent those trolls. She was pretty annoyed with you, but in her book, you're even now. So don't start nothing and there won't be nothing.
Oh. Okay.
That is good because Val relies a lot on media to maintain her celebrity.
Yeah.
So
Those Bernie for music purposes.
Yeah, in the pantheon of pantheons, media probably receives more worship and attention than any other pantheon. So
let's not mess with her.
So on an average Saturday in December of, let's say 2018, just to pick a number out of the air, What would your character be doing on a let's say like 10 in the morning kind of situation?
Thing.
Okay.
What did you say?
Sleeping.
Oh, sleeping. I'm going to brunch. I don't know about you.
But what if there isn't a table?
Oh, no.
Oh, that's cute.
That couple there that just sat down, they feel like maybe they should wait their turn and let me go first. I need to convince them that I was here first. I just stepped away real quick to make a phone call. But please get up. Let me have your table.
I like it. You know what? Let's just roll some dice for funsies. Roll sway someone for me. So you're gonna roll 2 dice and add your awe score.
Okay. Can I apply my larceny to this since I'm rolling to get away with something, or is this lying not count?
No. Yeah, you're lying to get something you want, and yeah, have like an immediate,
Okay.
like dishonest benefit. Yeah, I think so.
All right, cool. I'm gonna roll these dice here. That is an 8.
Okay, so partial success. They're gonna do it, but they need some kind of price. What can you offer them? They're sort of hemming and hawing, and they're like, "Yeah, you're right. We probably should, but we waited like 40 minutes for this table. Like, we kind of just want to have our crepes."
Oh, you know what? I can totally get you a picture with real local celebrity Val. What's your last name, Val?
It is Hagen.
Val Hagen. Yeah, I can totally get you a picture with Val Hagen if you just.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's cool. Is she here, or what's the?
She's in the city. I can call her up whenever I want. We know each other. We go way back.
Okay, they're gonna give up their table, but they want to get this picture
first.
I want to know what this phone call to Val sounds like.
Oh, it's not a phone call to Val. I'm gonna go around the corner and then just turn into Val.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Ability and outfit of the day, and come back around in like a fancy ball gown, just like I was walking down the street.
Yep. Okay, I love it.
I love that Val's cringing and she doesn't know why.
Yeah, you can be Val more easily than Val can. Like, you don't have to do your makeup or hair or the clothing. Like, you just like, oh, that's fun.
Yeah, I got my outfit of the day, and today Val, at least for right now.
Great. So yeah, they pose for the picture. You do the little selfie at the table. Have you hacked Val's Instagram account, or do you have like a dummy Val Hagen Instagram?
I don't think I've set up a dummy one yet, but I tell them to make sure to tag me in these.
Oh yeah, okay, great. Tag me.
Tag me. Send a friend request. I'll be sure to accept it.
Is this how Val finds out that we're having brunch here this morning?
I mean, if Val wants to join, but
what's Val's 10 a.m. on a Saturday look like?
All right, so there's a very Sorkin-like walk and talk happening in the back of a fashion show. I'm fleeted by designers and costume people, and a person walks up to Val with a dress, and Val just goes, "Does that look like russet orange to you? Honestly, how hard is color? How hard is color? Elementary school. Go back. And they're walking.
I'm sorry. I didn't. I thought it was right.
No.
I'll try again.
Goodness. What do they even teach at college? She's got a coffee in one hand, but it's like not drank. It's just kind of there. It's an iced coffee, even though it's the middle of winter. And the phone would go off for the Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you get this like, hey, your latest post is blowing up. And then there are also a bunch of other posts where you're tagged in it, where other people at the restaurant were taking pictures and say stuff like, wow, Val Hagen's really odd. Like, she's just like swooped in and took a picture with these folks because they asked it. Like, how hospitable is that? Like, that's wow, what a cool celebrity.
So there's the moment of Val stopping and looking at this, and the fleet continuing. Like, just they're still doing their thing, and she's completely stopped.
Uh-huh.
And it's just like, why would I wear a ball gown? Just
To brunch.
to brunch. And sends that text. Why would I wear a ball gown to brunch? Where are you?
Because you fancy AF.
Oh yeah, I think they have location tags in the posts. So
All right. So it's why would I wear a ball gown to brunch? I'm on my way. And she goes to, I don't know if there's a fashion version of an understudy, but to the understudy, and it's like, you're in charge. Make sure that dress is the right color. Make sure my makeup's here. It seems to walk away.
I feel like a stage manager is the word you're looking
Yeah.
for.
That would be good.
that's probably it. Somebody with a headset like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she berates them a little bit, and then is on her way.
Okay. Yep. You definitely have the star power to be harassing people. So Bernie, what do you do to keep track of your wild friends? You're the one who knows why Eklund does what he does, right?
Mhm.
Yes, I do.
So do you keep tabs?
No. Typically, what she does is, you know how you can set notifications for like
Mm.
Google searches and stuff.
Yeah. Google alerts.
Yeah. She has Google alerts for mostly Val stuff because I feel like Eklund messes with Val for the most. So
I like
if it's
it.
anything where it's like abnormal or like local celebrity super nice,
Mhm.
kind of thing, it like instantly like wakes her up. And it's
Yeah.
what's a really good song for the message alerts? I'm trying to think. It's Britney Spears' Toxic plays.
Mm.
And she just
It's perfect.
right. Oh my gosh.
Also, you're seeing the spin up of kind of internet conspiracy trolls of like, wait, we saw pictures of Val Hagen going into the backstage setup, and she's over here. One of these is a hoax. You'd be the judge, and it's like that's already started up.
Are there two Vals?
Yeah.
Dun,
Is
dun,
she
dun.
secretly two people?
Yeah. So she doesn't even bother to tag at this or to text. She's calling Eklund at this point.
Okay.
Okay.
So when he picks up, all you
Hey,
is
Bernie.
Motherfucker! Arabic for what did you do?
Oh, I thought it was a different language for a cuss word.
No, I couldn't find the translation for numbnuts.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh,
What did you
okay.
do? Just
Oh.
Motherfucker, what did you do?
Oh, I got a table for brunch.
Did you use Val's face
hungry?
again?
It's fine. She can.
And
No,
then I'm
it's
looking at the
more
pictures.
dress, right?
Why are you in a ball gown?
I felt fancy this morning. Sue me.
Someone might one day.
Nah, it'll be fine.
Eh,
You want some waffles?
kinda. I'll be there in a minute.
All right. So, shall we fast forward to everybody at brunch?
I like the juxtaposition of it'll be fine, and then it just cuts to them all at the table, and Val just being like, "This is not fine.
Yes. Yeah, I
You
love it.
can't keep doing this."
Brittany's got those big sunglasses on so nobody can really see her eyes, and she's just like. Just rubbing
Is
her
Bernie
nose.
hungover or just tired?
Yes.
Okay. So Bernie drinks on a Friday night.
She's 21.
Yep.
Of course she does. We gotta
Okay.
celebrate life.
Yep.
Yeah. She just, and you called them my chaos friends. So I feel like at some point she's like, why am I the group mom? Why am I the group mom? It's not what I signed up for. Who lied to you? I grew up with a rock star. Well, she probably is. She grew up with a rock star. She's used to that. She knows all the hangover cures.
Eklund,
Yeah, Val.
isn't Dylan usually here? Why isn't Dylan here?
Oh. I meant to call them. I
Yeah,
had to
if
get
you're
the table first.
if you're gonna drag my name through the mud, could you at least make sure Dylan's here?
What? How is
Why?
this your name through the mud? Pictures with
Ball gown
Oh.
in the morning on a Saturday in December.
Really
I'm
more of an
just
evening
fancy.
look.
No,
Hey, at least you got the shade right this time.
I think the ball gown is what's like slightly off too. 'Cause, like the trickster, yeah. But like Val's just very, very annoyed at that and showing it in her face.
There's no such thing as bad publicity, right, Val?
No, there's a lot of bad publicity. Why? Who says that?
Everybody, right? The news,
And
media, magazines. I don't know.
she looks
I'm
down
sure
in her
someone
phone.
says it.
She's trying to escape in her phone at this point.
So Eklund texted Dylan. Is that what you were saying?
Sure. Yeah, I think after I got the table and Bernie called me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Dylan?
like you.
I also assume you have a group text and then you have another group text without Dylan in it.
Yeah. For any time we need to talk about demigodly stuff.
Yeah, like
That one just
emergency.
says business.
Yeah. Yeah, so Dylan texts back and he said, like, you knew I was setting up for that biopic documentary thing that I'm working on. Like, I can't go to brunch today. Why do you not plan anything ahead? It's this long text message of like, but with zero typos. I think Dylan is like the type who like goes
Meticulous.
back and capitalizes and uses period and like,
Proper
basically write the
punctuation.
letter.
Yeah.
Yeah, dear Eklund.
To whom it may concern, aka.
My bad, Dylan. I was just thinking about food.
What else is new?
So are they coming? Are they?
The follow-up message is I'm free after sundown.
Okay. Well, cool. We'll go get drinks after sundown.
Okay.
You're not old enough to drink.
I know plenty of people who are.
Those types of laws are unimportant to a trickster, I think.
Yeah.
But Bernie wouldn't be a good mom friend if she didn't say it.
No, that's true. You just say it, and then whatever happens, happens.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, you mean this ID?
Exactly.
Whatever, I'm not bailing you out. And at this point, she just has the biggest. She's just like, nope, I'm done with all this. I'm done. Doesn't care that it's New York and you're not supposed to smoke in public. She's just, y'all make me nuts. It's too early to drink.
All right.
Okay.
So, as the three of you are sitting there, you have some food, drinks come, you're, just kind of hanging out. Eventually, somebody comes along who you realize right away that this person is like a supernatural being, and they kind of just walk up and pull the fourth chair out at your little table and sit down. And you're looking at somebody who has blue Ethernet cable as hair, right?
Oh.
So, kind of like dreadlocks, but not really, because it's just Ethernet cables.
They're super cyberpunk is what I just heard.
Yeah, kind of, but I mean, it's literally growing out of their scalp. So whatever that's worth. And it's relatively short. It's just this like swept back kind of thing. They're wearing sunglasses and a fairly snappy gray pantsuit. The gender is not immediately obvious, and their voice doesn't really give anything away, so we'll just use they, them pronouns. And they say, I have been sent by my parent, and I have to deliver some information, and I need to do it quickly. Is this a good time?
I didn't do it. It wasn't me. You can't prove it.
You did, and I can, but that's not important right now.
Would you like a mimosa?
I shouldn't hang out here too long. And like after this amount of time, you can pick up like, oh, this is a demigod who's sitting across the table.
I'm
like,
We're being
just
polite.
messing with them a little bit.
mhm.
I think like, oh yeah, they're important, but just offer them a drink instead.
Okay.
All right, what's
Well, here's the thing. Internet would like to have you help with something. There is a fashion designer in this who's going to be at one of the side stages, and his name is Simon Lassiter. He has my parents' blessing, but has been waylaid by some people who have other ideas. We have already realized that this is too much for me personally to handle. And that's hard to say, but I'm pragmatic above all else. And the fact is, it's true. He's already been attacked by elements of the Celtic pantheon. And we think it's going to happen again. I barely managed to stave off that attack, but we need your help. And if you're willing, Internet is willing to offer a number of different inducements. Okay.
I'd like to know what they
Internet
are.
fashion.
There are options. I mean, there's a good old-fashioned, coin of orichalcum, and that's just a little bit of background. Is the sort of magical metal. This is not something I made up. You can Google it actually. But it's a magical, impossible alloy that you can't make without magic. And it is kind of the currency for debts in Demigods, where like money and gold and whatever is kind of pointless for gods. This is a thing that has value. Like 10 orichalcum is what you need to craft an epic weapon or armor or something like that. So they're very, very valuable, right? So there's that. We can turn up your internet presence for a period of time. We can provide a number. Maybe there is a mortal wealth engine that would be helpful to you. Getting things in the city does require regular money sometimes. She kind of gives Eklund side eye.
Sometimes.
Like, some people have to pay for things.
You don't have an Eklund. How sad for you.
But on the other hand, she doesn't have an Eklund.
Yes.
So, or they, I should say. They kind of like sit back and cross one leg over the other and picks up the mimosa and says, "So can we count on your help?"
Well, divine money is a lot harder to make.
Do we each get to pick whatever reward it is, or are we doing a group reward here?
No, we're happy to provide your personal preference.
Okay. And she kind of looks about. She goes, "I don't care anything about internet presence, but I know that's something you like."
Yes, I'm in.
Yeah. I could see protecting this Lassiter fella.
Very
Simon,
good.
sorry, is that a guy? Is Simon a...
Yeah, Simon is a man. He is doing an interesting bit of work in the avant-garde arena of the fashion show. He's not doing the kind of standard, streetwear kind of approach, but my patron is considering perhaps fostering a new offspring with him. So we would like him to do well. We would like him to experience the success, and for internet to be able to take credit for it. And then, so out of character, it occurs to you like, wow, this person's like just telling you like giving away the store.
info dump here.
The internet wants to bang this guy. and make a demigod, and it is like wants him to win and tell him the internet helped you win, and that's how they're gonna win him over. So like, wow, that's a lot of information.
We're helping internet get laid. That's gonna be interesting.
And Simon.
And,
And
well,
yeah, if Simon's a cool guy, why not? Let's go see what he's like. Maybe he's really cool. I mean, if he's a jerk, we can always just walk away.
yeah, because I'm down. I don't care. I'm down. I can't let you two go out anywhere together.
We will make
You're
sure
honest.
that Simon is not attacked. And in exchange, you will give us what we want.
Yes. Can I bring your requests with me when I leave?
Yes.
Yeah. I want some of that nice orichalcum. I don't have any other way to get my hands on it.
Yeah, very good. Actually, make it myself. So
Oh,
it's.
Who are you? By the way, I'm so very sorry. I know that's rude.
My name is. Jason forgot to give me a name. That's
Is
so
it
funny.
cookies? It feels like it's cookies.
I know that DM feel, or GM feel, or
Yeah.
Herald feel in this case.
Oh yeah, that's right. I'm the Herald. The person says my name is Arvin, Arvin, and I do what I can in the area of crafting and making things. Fashion design isn't my particular bailiwick, but I respect where this Lassiter guy is coming from, and I like that the internet wants to help him. I think it's going to be interesting. He has an interesting style, and I'm curious to see how he does in the competition. I mean, he's going to win, but I'm curious to see how he does.
Oh, the fashion show competition. Yes.
Right.
You were paying all the attention.
Try.
So, Mr. Eklund, you would like to have a coin? I can arrange for that.
Bernie, what would you like?
My pops has a show coming up. He could use a few more internet likes, I suppose. Let's settle 5 years of popularity out of that. Sound fair?
Easily done.
Groovy.
Val's going to lean forward and look this person in the eyes. I want the designer to get all credit for his work.
Well, we intended that.
I want the internet to not take any credit for it.
Oh, the internet is going to take credit for helping him win, just face to face with Lassiter.
Okay. My misunderstanding then.
As a sort of courting present.
Ah,
And
Yeah, I
if-
like you. Look, I helped you win.
Yeah, and if Lassiter refuses, he refuses. But this is the internet's plan. So yes, publicly he will receive all the credit. So that doesn't. You should.
then
have
I'll
something
take payment in American dollars.
Okay, that can be accomplished. Well, I guess I should be on my way. It looks like, and you look down at like the spoon in front of Arvin is like starting to twist a little bit, and like reflecting the light in a weird way, and then you realize like the reflection in the spoon is nighttime. You're like, I think it's time for me to go. Thank you, and I'll be in touch by remote from now on. And they do this thing with their phone, and all three of your phones are like ring, and receive a contact. It's good to be a child of the internet. And they get up and go, and that spoon settles down and puts itself back in the right shape. And
Val's going to turn to Eklund. Do you know
What did I
about
do?
how long they were here for? It felt like 5 minutes, 7 minutes.
Seemed real brief.
yeah, and I should say it's not actually nighttime.
No, yeah,
Yeah, it's
10
just
in the morning.
the reflection in the spoon.
Yeah. Val's making other calculations of how long
Oh.
that she could be in contact with Arvin
Oh, okay.
until
My.
things start getting weird.
I see.
Ooh.
Oh, 5-10 minutes.
Disappointing.
I'm sure.
I'm so sorry life is so hard for you, Val.
I'm glad you understand.
Do any of you have a high judgment?
I do.
Oh yeah, Reaper. What I'd like you to do is read the weave, and as one of the herald moves is I'm going to have you roll that, and I'm going to use up one of your questions by giving you some information. But we'll see what else.
So that's a 12.
Oh my!
Wow.
Yeah, babe.
That's a lot.
+2 to weave.
So do you have the basic moves there?
Yes, I do. Un momento, por favor.
Yep. So read the weave on a 10 plus. You get to ask 3 questions. I'm going to use up one of those.
Okay.
And as you're sitting there and Arvin gets up to leave, it occurs to you now after the fact, Arvin was sitting in the corner of the room when you got here. And you now know that you were made to not notice them.
Interesting.
And so, and you got here, what, half an hour ago? Something like that. So that just because Val had brought up like, how long have they been here? And you know, that part of the conversation come up, suddenly that piece of your brain that said, don't notice this, wore off and said, hey, remember this thing that you weren't supposed to notice? But you have 2 more questions from these lists. It doesn't have to be all from the same list, but you know, if you want, you know, a read a person and a read a place, you can pick one of each, but you have 2 questions left.
I would like to know what, let's see, what does he want from us? How can I get this person to blank? So I want to know how I can get him to stay in contact with us. I would like to use him as an informant.
Yeah, I think you can tell like this person is not, they would be terrible lying, right? Like this person is just like a genuine, sincere person and a magical, crafty person of some kind. And they just don't have time for bullshit. So basically, if you don't bullshit them and do the thing that they, you know, like this is a person who has a good relationship with their divine parent, you know, like this child of the internet has a good relationship with the internet. So they're like, yeah, this is a good plan. And I personally am not powerful enough to carry this out. So pragmatically, I'm not going to take offense to that. I just need to take the steps to, you know, so that's how you could get that person to stay in touch and sort of like be a contact is if you don't BS them and do a good job of taking care of Lassiter.
Nice. So I guess that kind of answers the next one, which was how can I get this person to like me?
Yeah, those are kind of the same. So let's you should pick a different one.
How can I get? Well, we don't have to worry about the fashion thing because I assume Val can get us in there. Let's see. How does this person factor into our weave?
This person is kind of what I would call a neutral factor in that this is not a danger omen. This is not, you know, somebody who's out to get you. And they're also not out to like make a big deal out of you. You know, they're just like, oh yeah, you three, this is the group who can do the thing that I need. And so the answer is like kind of a non-answer, but it's also like that is information, right? It's this person is not a secret assassin. They're not like
They're not going to hurt us, but they may not always help us.
right. Yeah, like they're kind of out for their own thing, and they see like you can do a thing that I need, and I can pay a bunch to get it.
Oh,
So
true.
that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, they factor into your weave as being like a source of wealth, basically.
Okay.
In
And
a
how
lot
long
of
did you
different.
say they had actually been standing there? Or sitting there?
The whole time when you got here, they were already there.
So how long had we been there? Like maybe what? Like an hour or whatever? Or like 30 minutes?
Yeah, you got here about half an hour ago before Marvin came over and said hi. How long were you there before she got there, Eklund?
Had to be at least like half an hour, 45 minutes, just because
Yeah.
Bernie was asleep.
Yeah, and to get around, get up, get dressed, get around New York.
Get the hippo going.
Oh yeah, get the hippo going. Yeah.
Oh wait, is the hippo here? Oh no.
Well, parked outside.
Relax. She's parked on the side. But I am going to like make a point of while they were talking about that. I'm going to say actually he's been here for at least 30 minutes before he came and talked to us.
And Val just kind of raises one eyebrow but doesn't respond to that.
Weirdo.
The question for our Herald: the sideshow, is that adjacent to a show that Val was running, or is it in a separate locale?
It's in the same area. In the there's like a big pavilion, and there's a main stage where like the winners of Project Runway and like all that stuff is going on, and then there are side stages where like smaller designers and presentations are happening. So Lassiter is supposed to show in one of those and have like a show stealing moment of like everybody going like, oh my god, this is amazing designers on the side stage and they should be main stage and blah blah blah. So that's it's probably not a name you recognize.
Okay.
But you can decide that for yourself. If you've been following Lassiter's work, that's okay too. But you did roll your eyes at avant-garde.
Val did. I would like to at least clarify.
I understand.
So we're just supposed to protect him. We're not supposed to help him win.
Well,
my understanding
like
is, keep him alive. The internet will do their part to make him
I
win.
can do that.
Mhm.
That's not hard.
I mean, yeah.
I don't want to be the damp rag on this conversation, but I'm not exactly a shield here, and Eklund, you're not exactly a shield either. And I've not seen you in a fight in a while, Bernie. And while you did real good back at the New Westbrook, I don't know if there might be a little bit of a difference between whatever it's coming here and there. Should we just scope out first and make sure we're not getting in over our heads?
I mean, yeah, but I gotta go and get Troy. That's the guitar.
Oh, the guitar. I didn't realize you named your guitar.
Of course I did. It's my epic, or it's my what is it? It's I'm trying to think of it because it wasn't epic. It's or it is an epic. It's my epic guitar.
You're also going to need to get changed. I don't know if they're gonna let you in.
No worries.
That
Rude.
As
I can be pastel all I want.
As you're discussing this, all three of your phones ding or buzz or whatever it is your phone does, but it's not a group text. It's just coincidentally at the same time, except coincidences aren't a thing in Demigods.
Cool.
And there's a note that just says unknown sender, and it says a token of my appreciation for taking on the project.
Mhm.
And each of you sees like whatever sort of social media thing you participate in, your follower count is up by about 20%.
Okay.
So, it's not a huge bump, or I mean, it depends on, if you have, what kind of follow count does Val have?
Right now, she wishes she had less because the most recent picture on her Instagram is one of her in a ball gown in the morning.
You
The
looked
picture's
great.
been deleted. The
Yeah.
picture's been-
It was so
Um,
brave. Everyone was so impressed with how brave you were to wear that to brunch.
Brunch. I think she would have to have over 50,000. I would think
Probably,
maybe
right?
maybe over 100, if not like getting to that tipping point of close to over 100.
Yeah, I mean, celebrity checkbox is as big as you want it to be. I mean, you could have been on a reality show. You could have been like, you might be a household name. That's entirely up to you.
I think she's where I see her right now is in that like budding
Mm.
area. So she hasn't been on anything that's been on TV yet. But the
Yeah.
moment she wants to be, she will be. Type
Okay.
deal.
Yeah. When she makes the move.
Right.
And does Bernie have a component that she cares about in like a follow count or attention or
For
online
her,
presence?
no, because she spent most of her childhood traveling around, and it was kind of like celebrity kid stuff, not a thing
Uh-huh.
she liked. But she does mostly worry about her pops, which is like his band.
Oh, yeah.
It's been like on the day, it's
Okay,
on-
so yeah, you get a report of the follow count for we don't have a name of the
Dark
band.
Elves.
Dark Elves is the name of the band.
Oh, Dark Elves,
Like-
yeah, I do have that written down.
I'm a nerd.
Is it the Dark Elves?
Nope, just Dark Elves.
Dark Elves. Okay. Schwartelf. So that follow count is up by like 20% or so. Also, Bernie, your the little like Wi-Fi symbol and cell phone symbol on your phone have been replaced with a different sort of like infinity sign.
She just like hugs the phone for a minute.
So you're gonna have a few months of unlimited access.
Yes.
Mm.
Sweet, merciful, yes.
And what would Eklund be? Eklund probably doesn't want a big. I don't know. Well,
No.
you tell me.
I think Eklund's online presence is limited to like reposting memes and other like just amusing things. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, I've never seen like a hippo being chased by a goose before. Here, let's put this out on the internet somewhere.
Yeah.
I told you
It's
not to
not like
post that video.
It's not your hippo. It's just a hippo. Nobody would see your hippo.
Why is that motorcycle being chased by a goose?
But like nothing personal, nothing of me. Like maybe some pictures of some of the things I've done, like the results, but nothing like of me myself.
Okay.
But just like reposting a lot of things.
Are you
Amusing.
Prankster Anonymous?
Yeah. Do you have like some sort of online brand that is getting attention, even if it doesn't have your face attached to it?
I mean, it sounds like it's at least getting some attention now.
Well, no, it's up to you. Like we can do this. Like if you don't want it to have a bunch of attention, we can do something else.
No, I can have some attention. I think I'm good with that because that means the more I can post things of Val there and it'll reach more.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, Val Hagen fell in a puddle of mud.
Oh my God.
Val Hagen seen at the latest Nickelback concert.
That's mean.
Val Hagen at a pie eating concert. I mean, contest.
Yes.
Or concert. Who
I
knows?
love the idea that your dummy account is called Hagen Das and it's things she does.
Yeah.
Hagen
Hagen
dose,
does.
please.
Hagen does. That's good stuff. Well, I think that might be a good place to wind down for tonight.
Okay.
We'll be able to pick up next time with sort of carrying out your the thing you've been tasked with. And I'm sure it'll go well and there won't be any problems. And there's no way the internet would be disappointed with you. So what could go wrong?
So many things.
Everything will go perfectly fine.
No conflict.
Eklund will be fine.
I'm sure.
And that's what's important. So, again, we are raising money for NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness. That'll be open until December 31st, so of 2018, if you are watching this in the future on YouTube. So, you can go to rollforchange.org/donate. I'm going to go around in alphabetical order backwards.
Oh no.
And you can let us know who you are, where you can be found online, and what projects you may or may not be a part of. I'll be going last because reasons. Scott, go ahead.
Hey, my name is Scott. You can find me on Twitter personally at the Scott Blake, or you can follow my podcast that I do, which is called Seasons of Skyren. We run a 5th edition D&D game. We're now in our 2nd year, and things are going great. You can follow us on Twitter at Skyrend Podcast. If you go to my own personal account, I'm sure you will see it linked there. It's probably in like a pin tweet or a bio or something. Or you can just search for Seasons of Skyrend. We are on like everything. Come find us. Come say hi.
Mm-hmm. And Jason.
I'm Jason. I wrote Demigods. If you want to check it out, you can go to Demigods PBTA. It's powered by the Apocalypse game. So demigodspbta.com and sign up for the newsletter. All the like beta documents go out there, and you'll be the first to know when the Kickstarter goes up. And also a cool fundraising opportunity. I do a lot of streaming with a group called Happy Jacks. And happyjacks.org/rainbow will take you to our funding page for this group called Rainbow Railroad, who is helping LGBTQIA plus folks get out of countries where they're being persecuted just for queerness, which is definitely not okay. So we're raising money to help get people out of these places, and you can donate with us through the end of the year, and we're doing this contest where our top 4 donors will get to play an online game with us. So very excited. We've raised a bunch of money already, and it's been a really fun process, and we just want to go out with a bang. So check us out.
Groovy Tuesdays.
You want to give the URL one more time?
Yeah, sorry. The URL for that is happyjacks.org/rainbow. And then if you want to follow me personally on Twitter, I'm at It's Probably Okay. So that's me.
And Bailey.
Hi, I'm Bailey. You can find me on Twitter at Ironic Adventures. You can also find me once a month streaming on the SHU Patreon game of Generation Justice. And guess where my new swear jar fund is going to?
Oh yeah, it is. I think I'll be making a donation there for my my pronoun jar as well. So to try and
since you said it's going to be up for a year, I think that's probably where I'm gonna put my swear jar for now. I also have a secret project coming soon, hopefully. But stay tuned.
Mm-hmm. And that would leave me, personally, you can find me at 2KNick, that's TWOKNIKK. And you can follow me if you want to see weird tweets about wrestling and role-playing games. Generally not combined. But if you would like to follow Roll for Change, which is why I went last, Roll for Change is at roll4change. And we try and put up all the information on upcoming streams, what charities we're helping out with, and also information on what charities we've helped out with in the past are currently doing. So we try and keep things up to date there. I personally think it's a very good follow. We get a lot of information out there so that you can use and help spread your influence and your money to where it belongs. We will be back in 2 weeks on December the 29th after the madness of all the holidays is over, and we will wrap up this Demigods two-shot. Is two-shot a thing that we say?
Yeah.
It is now.
Okay.
I mean, it is every time I've tried to run a one shot. So
Oh yeah, I'm terrible at one shots.
doesn't happen.
So we'll be doing our Demigods two-shot on the 29th at the same time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We will see you then. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.
Thanks, everybody.